Rupert was waiting.
Yeah, Rupert's waiting. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Rupert.
Hi. Wow, what a lot of people. It's great. Well, look at everyone.
Hi, Wendy. Hi, Claire. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Anne.
Hi. Hello. Great. So we're lovely to see you all. Nice. Okay, who do I recognize?
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Nikki.
Yeah.
Well, you recognise the vision in white.
Hi. Hi. Right. This is a first for most of us, I imagine.
I know, right?
Sound? Anyone? Okay.
I know. Hello. I think we're all
How would you like to play it?
ready to say hello. Really.
Hi, hello.
Yay, hello.
Hello, love your shoes.
Hi, Claire.
Hi. How many people are we expecting? How is that? Are we quorum? Are there any more takers? When do we?
Yeah. And I don't think we can see everybody even in the screen too.
Okay.
Hi, Wendy.
Hello.
So first of all, Stacey, thank you for giving us this opportunity to meet your lovely customers and share a bit about Rupert, which is fantastic. We've enjoyed working with you for, I think, 7 or 8 years, maybe a little bit more. And you're always our favourite appointment in New York or Paris. And you always bring a lot of fun. So thank you. I know you've got some questions for Rupert to share with everyone.
I do, and now I need myself in to get started. I thought we actually would start at the very beginning of what I sent you today, which I love. And that I think everyone wants to know is, when did you get started with the namesake label, and how old were you? I always think that is a fun question. How old were you when you started the brand Rupert Sanderson?
Great. Well, I'll kick off. I mean, how old was I when I started it? How old was I I was 33, 32 possibly when I started. I mean, I came to it quite late. I had a sort of another career in advertising, but then I got quite disillusioned with that world, and I'd always had this sort of inexplicable fascination with shoes, not particularly women's shoes, but just the way of the sort of the magic that shoes had about them. And it was a bit of a lightning bolt moment at a time when I was really at a sort of bit of a my wit's end about what I was going to do. I didn't see myself working in advertising for the rest of my life, and I suddenly decided, almost on a whim, to go and learn how to make shoes at a technical college in East London, which had quite a good reputation. I knew nothing about it, but I went and saw them, and I saw the course leader, managed to convince them, or do enough to convince them that I could sort of join without a portfolio. Started studying at the technical college, there was nothing fancy about it. It basically was set up for people to do day courses from the factories that were a lot of factories in the East End of London, just to technically improve their shoemaking skills. And so I learned how to make shoes in a technical college, and they had connections to Italy, which then allowed me to go out to Italy and spend time getting to know the people in Italy, which I then moved out to Italy. And then it was after that experience that I fell in love with the idea of making women's shoes in Italy, in that sort of traditional way, that sort of family-run, Italian family-run business way, been the sort of, have really been the sort of architecture of the business ever since. Rather sort of simple operation, using the artisans and the people that I met, almost when I started, back when I was 32, so 32, 33. So that's maybe as more than information you need, or I could have just said I'm 32, and that would have been the answer.
think it's probably worth saying that Rupert worked with Sergio Rossi, the Sergio Rossi family, when he was in Italy. I think that's quite a key kind of interesting fact, don't you think, Rupert?
Yeah, I mean, I worked with the Rossi family, learned my sort of skills with Sergio, and Gianvito was there, and he was a good friend when I was there, because we were effectively living with the family in their village, and so I worked there for 6 months, yeah, I literally learned shoemaking, I suppose, the sort of the Rossi way, and the connections I made and the suppliers that we use now are still the suppliers that that particular part of Italy is famous for, and the shoe businesses that are down in that part of Italy, near to South Bologna. And so they're still the bedrock of the business, are the contacts and people that I made shoes with, or the suppliers, the specialists, the heel makers, are all born out of those relationships that I forged 20 years ago.
Very true in this business. It's a very large business, but very small when you stay in it as long as we have, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's there are a lot of people that, I mean, it's a great industry because there are these constants that are still there, and they pass from generation to generation. It was ever thus, and that's why a lot of the big Italian brands that we know of now are third, fourth, fifth generation businesses. So there's a lot to be said for that model of business. So yeah, that's my background in terms of the sort of when we how I got started.
I think the shoe business, when I think about all the things that we hear, as far as everything from handbags to ready-to-wear jewelry, shoes is probably one of the most difficult because you have to make it in so many different sizes. Can you talk a little bit about the factory and how you actually craft the mold? What does that even entail?
Well, I mean, I mean, we had a brief foray into bags about, I don't know, how long ago was it, Andrew? 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago.
And the most extraordinary thing was that once we'd made the bag, that was it. There was nothing else to it. Whereas with shoes, you've got all the grading and the fit. You can make the most beautiful shoe in the world and still not get a word's worth of thanks for your efforts, because if it's agony, it's worthless. And so there is a double. It's the Ginger Rogers of the fashion world. You have to do everything that Fred Astaire does, but do it all backwards. You've got to basically be able to do all these, make these beautiful things, but they've actually got to perform, a basic task, which is work like a shoe. You've got to put them on your feet and be able to walk all day, dance all night. So it is a layer that a lot of people, in ready to wear, you've got to get the gradings and the patterns and the fit and the cut is all essential and part of the beauty of the product. But I think shoes are particular because there is so much, there's so much sort of physicality around a shoe. They've got to hold you up all day. So it's like a good building, I suppose. You've got to get the foundations right from the get-go, and that requires making a good last that fits and is a combination of all the things I'm looking for in terms of sort of elegance and a beautiful form. But it's a fine line between something that is purely comfortable and functional, and being elegant and elevating and makes you feel special. And so I'm constantly working that fine line between form and function, between the job the shoe has to do and how beautiful you can get away with. And sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it wrong, but you're constantly sort of exploring that fine line. the grading of it is the way of making it into sizes and half sizes is something that fortunately we benefit from the whole industry, because the last makers that we work with in Italy make lasts for everyone else in Italy, and there's effectively an aggregate sizing that all the lasts from everyone that get made, and they will grade them in half sizes towards the industry mean. So it's not worth you trying to do something different or going out on a limb. You effectively want to use the latest, most up-to-date sizing and grading available. And that is all. And now, increasingly it's become much easier because everything is stored on computer and they can adjust things minutely. So fit should be getting better or more consistent. If you're using a big last factory in Italy that makes, they have 3 or 4 big operations around in Italy, and the one I use is the sort of mother company in just fortunately near my factory. So the grading is part some maths and part just by eye, trying to make it look as good as you can whilst making sure it fits properly. Are the people, Sonia and Marie Claire and Elizabeth, are we Sonia and Anna Maria and Elizabeth, Claire? I can't see them. Are they there? There's mute.
We are here. I
to
just don't have
Claire
my
at the
camera
moment?
on.
Hello?
Yeah.
They don't have their
I
cameras
think that
on.
they don't want to be seen. Not everybody wants to see themselves in the video. I can't imagine why, because I love it every day.
Can I just get a big hello? Can I get a big hello from everyone then? Unmute briefly and say hi, because there you go, great. And Elizabeth and Claire, I just want to feel that I want to hear the laughter.
Absolutely. Loving this.
There we go.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Go on. That's it. Elizabeth, don't be shy. Okay. Oh no, Sonia's, sorry, there's obviously children being murdered in the background or something. I should be the one that's muting it. We're trying to nail four small boys to bed. So anyway, there could be some shrieking at any moment. Okay, next question. Let's go for it. Sorry, I couldn't. Could you just say that again, please? I didn't hear it. So.
Whitney just joined us as well.
Okay.
I don't know if she wants to read it or say hello, but other people. There we go. Yay! Hi.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Whitney.
Where's Whitney? I haven't seen Whitney. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. There's other people.
Sorry, I am not camera ready.
Okay.
Thank you for joining.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
I'm not camera ready. I love
Great.
it.
Hey, we're getting a bit of a party going now. Good. Okay. Next question. Let's get going. Let's go. Anyone else can pick questions as well?
Whole team.
Hi there. Say that again.
Hi, guys.
Can you say hi to my team?
He's frozen.
I've frozen. I can't see myself either.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
This is
Hey.
Andrew.
Hi, guys. Hello.
Hi, all. I made a mistake with the timing.
They're all here watching.
Great. Fantastic.
We've got a tower
I
of
do
Rupert
have to
Sanderson
admit,
shoes.
it is 9 p.m. at night. We have a tower of Rupert Sanderson shoes. You have a
We
tower
love
of
it.
Rupert Sanderson shoes.
Yeah.
In
I want
front
to.
and we said 4 boys, correct?
Mm.
And wife.
Yeah.
And
Full house.
so one of my biggest
So it's
I've got a
break.
dog, which is very frightening because oh, it's breaking up.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly well, yeah. Maybe I'll stop my video. How about this? Let's try this.
Okay.
That better?
Doesn't make much difference, Rupert. I think they'd rather see you probably.
Yeah, we can hear you great. We can hear you great. We just
Well, you'd
Stacey
rather-
keeps breaking up.
That, okay.
I keep breaking up.
Yeah, okay, keep
Stacey, you
over the
keep
questions.
pausing.
Okay.
Let me try a different Wi-Fi.
So what's the next question, Stacey?
All right. So my next question is like with four, I think one of the craziest things, you have 4 boys at home, you have a thriving business. How do you manage how big is your team at Rupert Sanderson? I think it's always fascinating for people to realize you're an international company, yet how many people do you have working there? And how do you manage to do home and work and still stay creative?
When you're looking at the team, there we go. It's me and Andrew.
No, that's not true. We've got a great retail team. We've got an e-commerce, we've got an e-commerce department, but we're a tight team. We've got a great CFO, Eleanor and Ilaria. They're with me always on sales campaigns, and but we're a small but very efficient team.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've managed to do as a business is that we've kept it. We haven't done things that a lot of businesses attempted to do, which is to just tool up to a point where you lose touch. And the truth is, we still work with the same factory as we've done from the start. It's our principal factory. And effectively, the shorthand that we use to communicate is so short now. We don't need lots of people. I mean, it's like running, I don't know. It's like it's like some of the best drummers in the world don't need a big drum kit. You need a floor tom, a bass, a snare, and 2 cymbals, and you can basically get the best sound out of that small drum kit. You could have the most complicated systems imaginable. It doesn't improve the quality of the play. And that's what we've learned, is that there are key elements that when everyone knows what they're doing, and we've done it so much and so often, so many seasons. I mean, we've done, 20 years, you do the maths, 20 times 2 is 40. We've done 75 seasons as a company. We know the rhythm, and we realize that a lot of what's sort of needed is not sort of lots of people and also the other great thing is in the lifetime of this business is we're on Zoom now. We use the internet, we use technology so much more efficiently, and it's so much more intimate and immediate that you don't need to have loads of people having lots of conversations about, it's making shoes. It's all about intimacy and closeness to the process. And so shortening those chains, shortening those pieces of communication is the key to getting things. You don't need to speak to 5 or 6 people to get your shoes delivered to your store, nor do we in terms of working in our factory. So we don't need lots of people. We just need to play very tight. And we've grown, we've shrunk, we've hired great people. We've discovered that we don't need to do certain things in certain ways, but broadly, it's the same as we've always been. Closeness and tightness to the product, making shoes. And that comes from my learning when I worked with Sergio Rossi. They lived above the factory, and every morning they'd come down and switch the lights on and start making shoes. And there was nothing more complicated about it than that. And I saw that with my own eyes, that there was, we ate together at lunchtime, and then we got back to making shoes in the afternoon. And anything beyond that, it has to be justified. So it's the same with, family life as well. You just keep it tight. You don't need, if you complicate things with lots of people, you just have more things to worry about. So, as things scale, we adapt, but we don't. It's all we're obsessed with is is making beautiful shoes, and that's a very intimate process, which doesn't require big teams, in my opinion, in my experience. I don't make lots of different things. I'm not a brand that's got multiple executions of, ready to wear and bags and shoes and hats and things, jewelry. That requires lots of people. At the end of the day, it's a fairly simple binary relationship which we've put together, with Andrew, and we've got a great team in Italy, which we've been there since the get-go. So the conversations are quite short.
Especially thanks to WhatsApp.
Yeah. I mean, it's speeded a lot of things up. We realised that there's a lot of things we don't need.
Answer because I love that answer because it is about having the right people, not a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you and Andrew have been doing this together for so long, and he has been contact for sale for eternity and beyond, which is so amazing. And one of the coolest things I think about you is that I get to be with you often at market and really talk to you about the product and your inspiration. And so one question was, how many shoes are generally produced for each collection? And what is your inspiration?
Two big questions.
Do you get it from architecture, art, photography?
I mean, it has to come from everywhere. And the truth is, you've got to be inspired by everything, because we're making, the calendar is 4 seasons, pre-fall, autumn, winter, resort, and spring, summer. So if you chop that up into a year, that's every 3 months you've got to come up with a collection of shoes. And if you're only inspired by very narrow sources, then you're going to run out of steam quite quickly. It's like, you just got to be inspired by everything, and there's nothing like a good deadline to sort of bring those inspirations to the surface. And so it can come from absolutely anywhere. And also, one of the things about being having made shoes for a long time is that you build a good back catalogue. You have an archive that until about 3 years ago I never really looked at, because I was always looking forward. I was always trying to think of the new, pushing to come up with new ways of thinking. And then actually you start to reflect on what you've done in the past. And I think that the speed of fashion has got to such a pitch that it's fallen over. And the pandemic has sort of, I think has made this more stark. There's just too much stuff out there. There was too many collections, too much merchandise, too many brands, just too much. And there's a lot of good ideas that I had over the years that lasted fleetingly, because there were other things that got overtaken, or there were more shoes that were more current at that time, or I was a bit early on certain ideas that were overlooked. And so actually referencing your own archive is quite inspiring, because there's a lot of work and thinking and feeling that goes into every shoe, and some make it into production and live long lives, and some don't. But the ideas that were in them are quite, I still believe in, and so I revisit them, maybe in a different form or different heel height or a different silhouette, but the general feeling of the idea, I feel still has some merit. So it's really weird to say I'm inspired by myself, but there's a truth to that. You can, it's rifting. It's like sitting at the piano. You can noodle and doodle, and certain things pick up and certain things don't, and some things come out of the end of your pencil and some things don't. And so you're not. It's no hard and fast process where I have to sort of glare at a picture or a building for 2 hours and sort of prize some inspiration out of it. It has to come. It has to flow.
I think one of our key kind of elements in the collection that Rupert discovered, and I think it's worth touching on the pebble, which you have on the age shoe, which was something that, I don't know if you want to expand on that, Rupert, but it's something that is, occurs in every single collection, and, we have it in many, many expressions.
I mean, if you want that as there you go, it's 2 shoes. I mean, it couldn't have been, it couldn't have been, the inspiration for that couldn't have been more humble. It was a stone that I found on a beach 13, 14, 500 years ago, when in Sri Lanka, which I just I had on my desk for years and used as a paperweight. It was something, and it was just the shape of it, lovely sort of organic form and I just picked it up, put it on a shoe, and said, "That's a lovely looking thing. Let's make it and cover it in leather." And it's been a signature in the collection for 10 years. And the thing I like about it is that, and I suppose it's what as a designer is a nice challenge, because I like working in very confined spaces creatively, because it really forces you to just be creative in a real sense. If you take a shape and say, right, you've got to come up with 12 ideas based on that shape, you start having to think really quickly and really sort of imagine, and that can be from different sizes, different textures, different constructions, different, it's infinite. But it's just a shape, it's just a stone. And so you can spring from that endless different expressions of something that is to anyone, it's a stone. It's as inspiring as someone finds a stone or a rock. So, if you take that as the baseline of creative inspiration, everything else is a bonus.
Andrew, do you know how many shoes you produce? Because Claire was asking how many shoes you produce.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on the season, but we produce probably around, I don't know, Rupert, 10,000 pairs.
Well, I mean, no, we do as a season.
Like
season we produce across the business between 6,000 to 8,000 a season.
Yeah.
And that can be a full season. So, I mean, at our height, we're probably producing 30,000 pairs a year, 35,000 pairs a year.
And so how many styles would that be? Because that was really what Claire was kind of asking. How many different,
How many different
styles per season?
Well, I mean, what it does is that you may find that there will be one shape on 3 different heel heights and 6 color expressions. So you can have one shoe that suddenly spawns 15 shoes, 15 different shoes. So, and then you might have a boot and a sandal. And so you could have one idea that then is worked very quickly across a whole different series of boots and shoes. So what we tend to do is I'd like to work on about 4 new stories and 3 to 4 reworkings of existing styles. And it may well be that only one of those new stories lives beyond the first sales appointment, or it wins outright, because at the end of the day, people can't buy all the shoes in all the expressions. And so we have to be quite, the truth is success is good editing, and you have to be quite ruthless in the editing. Otherwise it just sprawls and becomes shapeless and directionless. So I like a really hard edit, because I'm not nervous of running out of ideas. I'd rather be really tightly pruned and grow back strong than just a whole lot of slushy shoes that just happen to be made and presented because they're there.
Also, when buyers like you like something, and are excited by it, it kind of makes it much easier to sell. And so we'll always go to the four or five really, especially for main. Pre-collection's different, it's so much bigger, but for main collection, there's always like 4 to 6 key shapes that everybody picks up on, you know? And I think also the collection, we edit it, but then also buyers like you kind of naturally edit it as well. So it always is reduced to the best, kind of the best selection.
I would say when I go into market though, I usually get to pick from about maybe 30 to 35 different styles. And like Rupert was saying, they've all kind of spawned off of each other, so they have a semblance or maybe one creative board that has a commonality. But then I edit it down to about anywhere from 6 to 10 different styles that we choose for the season. So and that's really what every buyer does in any collection. We edit it down to the assortment that we think would fit our customers the best. And even often people don't realize, but you even do that for your own stores as well, because there's no way to carry every single shoe in every single color, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
We're our harshest critics, you know, because ultimately we've got to carry that stock. So we've got to make sure we can sell it. So, you know, there's a commercial reality that's healthy. You know, it's who wants to watch a 6-hour movie? You know, I mean, you've got to really make every second count. And it's the same with a collection. You know, you've got to give as much impact as you can in the space time available. So you've got to edit hard.
One of the neatest things that you do allow me to do, and a reason why we don't have our resort collection up yet on our website for pre-sale, is you allow me to change the color often. For instance, in these beautiful Deirdre heels that I'm obsessed with and wear all the time, you often allow me to change the suede color to something that we feel would fit our assortment. So that is something very, very unique, and not all shoe designers are able to do that. Is that because you work with the factory that you work with in Bologna?
I mean, it's a combination. I mean, you know, if it's commercially, you know, it makes sense, then we'll make it happen. If we can access we can get the leather that you like. You know, I mean, it's a color palette. I'm not so prescriptive that my shoes can only be seen in certain colors. I'm very happy for, you know, the markets are different, and certain people, you know, need colors or finishes for different parts of the world, and different parts of the, you know, patent may be greatly, really popular in a certain part of the world, but suede might be the other. So, you know, we have to work with our customers. We have to work with people they know. You know, I mean, Stacey, you know your customers and you know what they want. I don't. I can't tell you. I can give you a broad direction, but if you believe that within the color card there's something that would be stronger in, then, you know, we will, within reason, obviously make sure that we can do that.
Which is awesome. So maybe we should see some of those suede shoes on. So lovely assistant buyer, Sophia, is a size 6.5. So she is going to be our shoe model today. And we've set up this amazing little vignette for you to see. These are some of my favorite boots, the over-the-knee suede boots that look super intimidating on the shelf. And that is one huge thing that I want to point out, is that, and I'm sure you agree, both Rupert and Andrew, that the shoes are so much better on the feet than they are just sitting there. Shoes are just like clothing. They look better on the body than they do.
Always.
So
this was such a good seller, because it's rare to find like an over-the-knee boot, but with a mid-heel, and that's its selling point, really. You know, you've got this, you know, it's on an 8 centimeter, so it's just a really, really great shape. And, you know, the trend of wearing dresses and skirts is so big at the moment. And it's a smashing boot. And that color's amazing.
They are incredible. And all the shoes we have today, we're gonna put with this same dress. And I think that that is so fun because it's a floral dress. And I would imagine everyone would think there's only one type of shoe I can wear with this. And that is so not true. So
That's
I
great.
love the heel height as well. It is
Yeah,
so
that's our best. I mean, that's the same. We've offered this tonight for you guys, which is our 8 centimeter. And so this is the new Nada. And again, the pebble that Rupert's kind of like, we have lots of different expressions of. And this heel is the best, it's a smashing heel, so it's very refined, but it's you can wear this all day.
And next up, she has on the like little houndstooth heel, which is actually what I'm wearing today.
Which is fantastic.
And I have them on my bare leg with cotton pants, and they're so comfortable. And she has them on with a little short sock, which I love, styled that way, because I think it makes it edgy and fun. And I also think it even still looks great with this incredible dress. This too, I think, is so intimidating because it is a square toe for a lot of people, and that's a new silhouette.
Yeah, but it's kind of beveled, so it's not super sharp, but it's a really good looking toe. And you also have it in the black calf as well, don't you, Stacey? So you've got it in just a really nice black calf leather. And this is nice because you've got this sort of sweetheart neckline. And we're offering a boot, you guys, on the same material, which is like a flocked kind of suede with this elasticated, the elastic is printed like the houndstooth. So this inspiration was like 1960s Carnaby Street, wasn't it, Rupert? Very swinging 60s.
It's right. It's the way of it's very Mary Quant. There's a London feel to it, or 60s swinging 60s feel to it. Sort of Gene Shrimpton. There's a sort of vibe that's feels quite. You can place it quite well in time and place. The sort of London in the late 60s. It's great. I mean, I like that. I mean, the reason I designed it is that you had the.
And this is the back. I mean, this is great. The EOS is great because it'll go right into summer because it's backless, which is a really nice. So that's a really trans-seasonal shoe.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the coolest things that we're doing tonight for all the people who are paying attention is we're giving you a special discount code. So that makes it even more amazing, which we never do. But I really believe we've been for so many years, and I think that it can often be intimidating to try something new, but it always makes you ready, right? So what is the discount code? The discount code is Rupert30. So any shoes you see today, you guys who are on here live get first dibs, and you get the 30% discount, which is incredible. We're going to type it on the screen so everyone remembers the code. But any shoes that you see that you like or have a question about, please chat us and we can answer it right here on the Zoom. Or if you're watching this later, check out our website because all of the shoes are shot on a model. And then you can see tonight us walking around in them because they are truly comfortable and chic, which is so important these days because let's be real, no one wants to be uncomfortable anymore in a pair of shoes. It's a rule in life. Okay, now she's gonna wear my favorite shoe of all mankind called the Deidre. I live in them because it's what I call a flat form. It's a platform in the front and a chunky heel in the back. So you really feel like you're almost on a flat. The chunkiness of the heel and the platform cut like right off. So you really only feel like you're on that much of a heel. So we have these in so many different colors and it goes with everything. If you're looking to add like a color into your wardrobe, this is the way to do it. and a heel without feeling like you're in a heel, meaning you're petite like me, I'm 5'5", and I want a little height. So that is a great shoe for you. It's a really great option. Oh my God. I always say I could run in an emergency in those shoes. And Claire, 100% agree. I run around the store as if are in those shoes. Totally.
I mean, I've adopted, you've always called that the workhorse. Hi, Whitney. You've always called that the workhorse. And I've adopted that when I'm selling it. It's just such a great shoe. In the UK, we don't tend to have, that's a great color.
Because this one truly goes with anything and everything. And if you're wearing black this season, or if we ever get to travel again, I hope so, then this would be the only shoe you would need to, because it goes with black, brown, gray, navy, green, whatever, because it's nude and neutral. So it's a Rupert, what's your favorite shoe and what's the story behind it? Great question. So yeah.
But what my favorite shoe ever, or my favorite shoe of this collection?
I would say ever. Of all your shoes.
I mean, it's quite hard to just have a favorite, because I mean,
who's your favorite child?
I suppose it's a shoe that sort of, I mean, there was a shoe that I made about 10 years ago called the Estelle, which I can't actually conjure up the image, but maybe we can send it round afterwards. But it was effectively made from one piece of satin that was cut to look like a leaf. It was almost like it had been flat, and then it had been brought up and surrounded the foot, and it had a sort of frayed edges, and it was just so simple and so elegant, and it sort of caught everyone's imagination. And it was one of those shoes that was a sort of culmination of years and years of work. In that, I'd made hundreds of different styles of shoes, and worked incredibly hard, and it was something that came very easily and endured into many seasons. It worked into different materials, but in its simplest form, it was always best in its original form. And in fact, there was an exhibition, a shoe exhibition at the Victoria and Albert Museum about 6 years ago, which they obviously were not short of entries for, and it was in that exhibition. So I've got a piece of paper which somewhere in the Victoria and Albert archive is a Rupert Sanderson Estelle shoe that was in that exhibition, and I've got the paper to prove it. So if I was going to choose one, it's got quite a story attached to it, and it lives on in some dusty archive box somewhere in the V&A.
I'm just trying to find it in our archive.
So that would be probably, but there are loads of them. I mean, there are some of the things that to some people, mean nothing, and to me, I just quite like. There's a shoe on my shelf at the moment which I really like. I still think it's a great shoe, and the world's full of fools who don't think so. So you can't be right all the time. We can't please everyone all the time. So. But that Estelle was quite a good. It was a good sort of, I don't know. It fell at the right time, and it felt right. It felt true to the way I designed. It wasn't compromised. So there you go. That would be my favourite shoe if I had to name one. On with the show.
One of every shoe you ever made?
No. I mean, it's partly to do with the fact that, we do have a photographic archive, obviously, so it's much easier just to flick through shoes that an archive book.
This is the archive book. I'm just going to show you guys Estelle.
Yeah.
I
always called it Batgirl shoe.
So it's just the Estelle, which is something that's very, very simple, but it's just one piece. That's in leather, but it was made originally in satin, in double-faced satin with a frayed edge and a top stitch that sort of held it together. Anyway, it was a time when, you know, it was a good shoe. It looked great on the foot, and it had a sort of, you know, it had some design integrity to it, which I was quite proud of. There you go. On with the show.
With the show, she's got another shoe on, the nude version, which I like live by nude shoes, and I even have such a problem in buying them for the store and for myself because they do go with everything. So I'm always looking for some color. So I'm glad we have the houndstooth version of this, but I really love the square toe. How do you feel about the square toe, Rupert?
I mean, I like it. I see it as in its sort of in the whole, in the round, in the sense that it's you know, it's meant to be slightly uncomfortable to the eye because it's not something that people are overly familiar with, but it's one of the tools in my sort of arsenal that moves the eye on. You know, makes a shoe that's in exactly the same material as the shoe that I made last season, but the silhouette changes and it catches the eye, and it moves the conversation on. It's not the same shoe. It's a different. It's a different aesthetic, and so I like that. It's, you know, it's ahead of its time, and some people are happy to wear things that are slightly ahead of their time, and some people want to be more comfortable in something that is current or, you know, or established. But this is slightly ahead of the curve. So creatively, I'm obviously quite interested in seeing what's around the corner, and that's what's around the corner.
And I always when I'm you know, working with clients, I always think that there's a real longevity to investing in a Rupert Sanderson, because, you know, you can wear it for several seasons and people will always be arrested by the style, you know, which I think is really great because Rupert's not a kind of a follower, you know, so I think that's always, you know, they are great investments.
Yeah, well, that's the you know, it'll be a style that, you know, it will endure, I hope.
I do love the 60s mod feel though that you have with all the square toe, because it's not like elongated, it's very short. So it feels, when you get it on the foot, it feels so different than sitting on the shelf. And you can tell this here, even on this little shoe. Andrew and I were speaking about it before the Zoom and saying once he had so many customers not like it, but when they put it on their feet, they fall in love with it.
I've sold this to everyone that tries it on, buys it, because it's just a really, this is Ottoman. So this is a really, really traditional kind of like hat making couture fabric. And Rupert's got the pebble, which, you know, he obviously, you know, and this lovely double bow. So it's super young on, you know, so that's another thing that it's always really important to just try Rupert shoes on, and you end up walking away with them.
As I always say, it's free to try on. So, and somebody told me a long time ago, actually back to my original days in fashion, working for Neiman Marcus corporate, I was actually an assistant buyer and then a department manager in the flag store of ladies' shoes. And they said, you know, someone's having a good time when they're making a mess. Shoe boxes and paper everywhere, and that means they're having fun. And I've always loved, and that's something that I certainly want our customers to live by. And where am I looking?
I totally agree with that. Shoe boxes everywhere.
To live and do.
So this is where Rupert really started to adopt the square toe, this beautiful sort of masculine, feminine shoe that Rupert does so well with. This is a slip-on, so which for, you know, in the South, amazing. You can wear it without socks. It's got a masculine look, but still very, very feminine. I think that is a great, that's always, that we just keep selling and selling and selling, that kind of look.
I love that it doesn't have laces.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's just a slip on. And it really is a black feet.
Yeah, it's very modern.
Skinny black.
We love a white, it's very Great Gatsby.
Yeah, or skinny black pants. Very cute.
Yeah, perfect.
You know, shoes are also like, what are they going to do? How are they going to make me? How are they going to enhance my look? Like, if there is anything, if you have sweats on, that will change your mood when you put a heel on or when you put a shoe on. It makes you feel a little bit taller, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Which therefore always makes you look thinner. And can really take something from masculine to feminine or really feminine to masculine, depending on the shoe style. But we all
Rupert does a great kind of like feminine, masculine shoe. We always have, you know, we always have them in the collection. This, I mean, you didn't buy it because it's too heavy for you, but you know, we've got the black version of that, which again, it's just got this little piping detail around it. And then this winter, for us, this has been a great shoe.
I love
And we'll
that
have this
shoe.
we'll have this for this pre-fall collection, so you can buy into that.
And so we had her just put some black socks on so you can see for styling that it's really fun with those. And it totally changes the look. Also, what you've been so kind to do is give us, guys have in your London store, so that our clients today can have access to them that we never would have had. So thank you for that. Specifically like that gold platform, the gold booty, the black booty, the houndstooth booty, and then the pump. Do you want to speak to those or show them? Yes, I love those.
So this is great. This is slightly higher than Deirdre. So it's like 110, but you've got the platform. This came from the single sole willow. And then Rupert put the platform on it. So very feminine, very 1940s. It's a printed leather. So it looks a little bit like a kind of a python, but it's not. And it's just got this very nice, almost like a turban front. Next style would be the boot, the square toe 60s boot in the same material, 50 heel, square toe, and you've got a little interior side zip. And then we're offering that in the houndstooth with the elastic that you have in the flat. And then just a classic black calf, again, square toe. They're all the same shape, but different fabrications. And then, which I showed you before, the kind of the Dorothy shoe for, you know, Christmas parties.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. So we're making these available just for your customers.
Love it.
Also, all the shoes have this lovely lick of gold that Rupert might want to kind of share with you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
And what is that? What is so cool?
I don't know how many of you have a pair of my shoes. Hands up, anyone who's actually got a pair of Rupert Sanderson shoes.
Thank you.
Okay, and glasses up. I try and every shoe has a little signature at the back where it's actually a benchmark, or what the inspiration behind it was what carpenters put on their work when they think it is right, or it is right angled, or the joints are correct, and you make a little mark which basically over two faces to say that they are joined correctly. And I quite like the idea of the hand of the carpenter or the hand of the shoemaker. And so what I did was I basically put a piece of, dipped my finger in a piece of, in some ink, and then swiped it up the breast of the heel. So it's got the evidence of the hand in every shoe. And so you can see on that boot, it's actually the width of my finger. It's not the width of the heel. It's just the width of my finger. So in some heels, it covers the narrow heels. It covers it completely. But in the broader heels, so in that heel, that's covered the heel completely because it's obviously thinner than my finger. So there's a consistency there. The story is that, and it really is, I just dabbed my finger in some black ink and smeared it across a page, sent it as an artwork, and then it was replicated on all the shoes I've made ever since. So as a signature, there's a flash of gold on the underside of the heel, which is, I think it's subtle, but it's not, it's for those, if you're looking for it, you can find it, but it's not gross or obvious or red. So that's the story behind the swoosh.
It's something that is you and no one else, pretty much, right?
Yeah,
totally,
it's a signature. It's an understated, subtle signature for those in the know. Obviously it'd be great if lots of people clocked it, but it is what it is. It's the story. It's what I wanted to do, and it's the story behind the signature.
What can we anticipate from you next? I know I have already bought Resort 21, which means I bought all the way through April of 21, and then what can we anticipate in those two collections? What can the customer anticipate seeing from you from now until, if you remember all the way back? Because one fun thing, you're already working on fall 21.
Yeah.
Yes. So we would see you
next week too.
Yeah. We would see you in December in Rainbow Wave, or we'd see you normally you do Paris end of January. So we're planning to see you with the pre-fall collection 21 in January.
Yeah.
And
that collection's almost complete. I mean, I'm going to Italy next week to finish it, to make sure that it's all completed by the middle of December. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose because you will be taking receipt of the resort and spring summer collections. So, I mean, Andrew, you can explain a bit more about the styles, but what I've done is I've sort of developed more styles on the geometric, slightly cubic expression of the pebble, with some using crystal and satins to be. I mean, I always feel that they're arriving, during the party season. Unfortunately, when I designed them, it wasn't. So for people going out, so these shoes will endure as party shoes, but they are also. There is also sandals in the for as the weather gets better and people can go out. So
sneak preview.
There, so you can see that there's a sort of the shape is taking that shape of the pebble, but making it into a more of a, if you did a square, sharp edged version of the pebble. And so it's my pebble, but in a cubic shape. So you can see that so that's the crux of it. And there are different expressions of that shoe, heel heights. There are also sandals that use that expression. There's also a combination of we used a lot of raffia. We've got a lot of summer, more sort of poppy colours that are more in keeping with parties and the summer seasons. So but broadly,
Well, I personally love that collection because it kind of draws me back to Sarah Jessica Parker and her crystals. And I feel like a white t-shirt and jeans and those pink heels sounds like my perfect outfit going into the spring season.
That was really, this is Maine, spring, summer. So we were thinking what we were thinking is if this works, we'll do the same when we launch the spring, summer collection with you. We'll do another evening like this.
Yeah.
And then we can really dig in to the whole collection.
Yeah. Any more questions?
So are there any questions people have of Rupert or of shoe design or his 4 boys and how in the world he does it? Does he have a favorite child? Does he drink Diet Coke? Do you drink coffee in the morning, Rupert? Are you an espresso man?
I like an espresso after lunch. But I also actually today was quite a big day because we've been locked down. We've been locked down for November, and so today was the first day that obviously the stores are open. But importantly, in my life, the Parliament Hill Lido is open, which is an open air swimming pool in Hampstead Heath, which I swim in every morning. But we weren't able to swim in it for a month. And it's now down to 7 degrees. So that wakes me up in the morning. So I swim through the winter, that's in my world, that's quite a big thing that I can now start swimming again, cold water swimming. So it sounds like mad, but then I have a coffee afterwards. To warm me up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
So I guess
and if
hold on.
yeah.
Sorry, there's some messaging coming through, so I didn't see those.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Whitney.
Please keep making Claire. Please keep making Deirdre styles. Whitney's gonna come back and shop later, which is awesome. The one thing I want to tell you guys is for the people who are watching tonight, the code is only live for you guys. So we appreciate you so much being part of this and tuning in. And so you get first dibs on all the styles with the sale code and no one else will know it. And then if you're watching this afterwards, then the sale will be live for you and you can enjoy. But I hope you see the difference in the flat image of the shoe and really seeing someone walk in and out and wearing them and how they can come to life, even by wearing a sock, by not thinking about how you might style it with the items that you already have. And that's what's beautiful about an accessory, about a shoe, is that it can transform outfits that you already own and make it feel like new again. So maybe not up for shopping much right now, but a shoe, especially with your fun code, can make your whole wardrobe feel new again and feel special. And is there any person or image that you have in mind when you design, or feeling that you hope women get when they try on your shoes? My dog would like to know.
Oh, your dog obviously has a view on that.
Wants to know.
Not really. I mean, it's just a feeling. It's just got to evoke a certain feeling, and either it does or it doesn't. I'm not trying to sort of fit something into a particular mood or board, or it's just again, you're evolving your designs from the previous collection or the previous season, or something that worked, or something you feel needs more work. So you're not really designing for one particular. It's dangerous, I think, design for one particular woman in mind, because there's so many different occasions, so many different women, so many different parts of the world, so all sorts of things that come to play. So I keep it quite broad in terms of my woman, I suppose, in terms of the woman I'm designing for. So it's not as prescriptive as I don't really design like that. And I think if you're designing if you're a ready to wear designer and you have to tell us a total story with a runway, it helps if you can sort of create some world which you then design everything around. But I'm sort of slightly old-fashioned in the fact that we're an accessories brand. I design accessories. They are the accessory after the fact. They're not the fact itself. And so they have to work with what a woman chooses to wear rather than being over dominating. That's where I am.
What did it feel like the very first time that you walked down the street and saw a woman you did not know wearing your shoes?
Well, when I saw the first time, it's great. It's sort of, it's fantastic because, you see someone. I like it when I don't know that woman, or I have no idea, different part of the world, or different world or different part of London, or something I'm not familiar with in someone. I think, okay, that I've had no influence other than making and designing that shoe. She may have bought it in a shop I don't know, or that she's, it's just purely down to the fact that she liked the shoe. It's not that I persuaded her that she's a lovely shoe and she should buy it and wear it. It's that she's made a choice that that's what she wants to wear. And so that's the sort of, the more remote, the better, in terms of because it sort of validates, okay, it's something's working. It's pleasing. I mean, obviously, extra points if it's worn well with a beautiful outfit, and the woman's beautiful, and it's sort of the setting's great, and the carpet's but I'm very happy that anyone chooses to wear my shoes.
And Wendy, do you have any questions?
I just was curious because I'm someone who loves shoes, and as I've gotten older, I sadly cannot wear the super fun ones anymore because I have arthritis. And I was just curious, when you design shoes, how, when you're thinking about something and brainstorming, how much of comfort is part of the equation for you? And you can say 0, I won't be offended.
Well, I mean, the truth is it isn't.
Yeah, that's what
I'm not designing from a how comfortable can I make the shoe perspective position. I am being respectful of the fact that they need to be worn, they need to be worn, and they need to be as comfortable as they can be, but within the parameters of the aesthetic I design it. And I think the sort of mythical shoe that is both Birkenstock and 6-inch stiletto doesn't exist.
Agree.
And I think the people that try and do that, always come a cropper. You can't, if you want to drive a sports car, don't go rallycross in it. It's shoes for the occasion. And what I do is I design a lot of flat shoes, and I do a lot of, and they are comfortable as flat shoes, but they're not. They haven't got a cork footbed and fur lining. They are single sole, elegant flat shoes with box calf and leather lining. They are the shoe that with a good last, a good shape. So I'm making them as comfortable as I can, but I'm not trying to get to a point where I've pleased all the people all the time. I can't do that.
I think it's fair to say, Rupert, that you're 10 centimetre, 11 centimetre, because the toe box is quite full. They're actually probably more comfortable than a lot of high heels. So a lot of celebrities really opt to wear Rupert Sanderson on the red carpet because they know that they're not going to be squirming in them, and they know they're going to be relatively comfortable given the height of the shoe. I think so. That's why a lot of people go for, we have a lot of celebrity wearers on red carpets, and they do wear the stilts, the 11 centimetres, and they're relatively comfortable.
Yeah.
I do find this tiny bit of a platform that you put in your shoe is so insanely comfortable that it makes it, this I can actually wear all evening. So I love that. Also, this with the mock croc, it's still just leather. It feels very vintage. And again, there's something cool about it. And now it's so funny sitting here with you guys and with Rupert so intimately, which is great, speaking to your point about your company. I love looking at you and looking at your shoes. They really reflect you as a person. There's a intelligence about them. There's an intellect to them and a sophistication that I think that you bring to them.
Thank you. Well, thank you. It's all the front. Well, that's great.
That I know. Mm-hmm.
They're high.
Yeah.
Look how happy she looks.
Celebrities always look happy because they're happy on other things.
Well, guys, thank you very much. I think this is possibly something we can do on a regular basis.
Weekly, yeah. Guys, thank you very much. But Stacey, thank you so much for organising, pulling all this together. I'll leave you to the exciting business of virtually trying on shoes and buying shoes. But hopefully, you've learned a little bit more about why I make shoes and where they come from. And yeah, it'd be lovely to do it again.
And it goes without saying, Stacey, what a great part. And it goes without saying, Stacey, what a great partner you and your whole team are to us and your customers. So big thank you to you all.
I will bid you farewell. Thank you very much, ladies. Lovely to meet
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.